Nation Network. Is
No Filter.
And we're here, and it's gonna happen. And you're gonna hear some, well, maybe some secrets, but you're definitely gonna actually be able to hear the inside of someone's intimate spaces. I am, of course, talking about Juggy D's soul, nowhere else. Brother, I'm really happy you're here for No Filter.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure. Namaskar, salam, sat sri akal, and hello to all the listeners.
Can I go right in?
Yes.
And say I'm worried about this No Filter.
Why?
Literally because of what you've just done.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
You're so happy and confident, and you've got this kind of swagger around you that kind of goes, I'm your homeboy, I'm a cheeky boy, I'm also a proper desi munda,
Yeah.
I'm a new father, I'm a nice husband, and you've got all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
And you know, within our culture, a lot of people like that find it very hard to actually crack open their insides.
Very, very true. Very true. And I think
that's why I'm worried, because I you can't come on there and not crack open your insides.
You know, there's certain things that, you know, I'm a very, very kind of what's the word, man? I'm very personal in certain aspects of my life, which I don't like talking about with anyone. And I think sometimes it's a bad thing, because there's certain things that you're going through in your life which need to be talked about so that you can get help, right? Everyone's been through dark places.
Yeah.
I've had my fair share of ups and downs in life like everybody else does. And a lot of people just see the picture from the outside and they think it's all glossy and beautiful, and you know, you got the family and the kids and this and that, and they don't know what's happening behind closed doors, and they won't never know unless you talk about them. And a lot of the time within Asian culture, and Asian men especially, we're very proud to let our guard down.
Yeah.
Because we don't want people
As in,
to know.
we don't let our guard down.
We don't let our guard down. Yeah. You know, and we think, no, I can't talk about this. People are they're gonna make me. It's gonna make me look small. It's gonna. But you know what?
Make me
I
look
think
weak.
It makes you a bigger person if you open up and seek help for things that you might be finding difficult in life. You know, but I mean, even though I still sometimes I hold back on certain things, but I try and you know, just live life without any kind of any stress, and just be happy that I'm here and enjoy what I've got, man. That's what life's about, man. It's not about making it too difficult and too stressful.
You definitely, to me at least, don't walk around with a secret pocket of stress. I don't see that in you. You know, when you meet people and you kind of know they're being professional, but they've, you know, you just think all the time, oh, it's something at home, something they've been through. Said to me that sometimes you hold stuff back, and the reason why is because of our culture. I'm going to be blatant to you, yeah? Like, I've known you, not intimately, but I've known you for minimum 17 years now, all right? Yeah. And I will say that I think, and this isn't a negative, but I think you're totally correct, because I feel like if I'm going to put you in a little box, and I put Rishi and Jay, and in fact, the entire British Asian music scene from that time, I would say that you, at the time, were the most well-presented, but also the most closed, in the sense that very happy, but maybe never very personal.
Do you know what? And it kind of goes quite well with this show. I think I was the one with no filter most of the time. And a lot of people just kind of like, I was just out there, like, you know, I didn't care what anyone thought. I enjoyed my life. I lived my life. But yeah, there were certain things that, you know, do you get
what I'm saying? Like, look, we weren't particularly close, but I know that if I asked, say, Rishi or Jay or Surindarathan or Tiger Star, I'm just thinking about all the people that are around at that time. If I asked them a personal question, I would have, after a bit of prodding, would have got an answer from them. I'm saying to you that I feel like I wouldn't have gotten a direct answer from you, because you were out. Look, we were all out there going, let's party, let's go mad. But I felt like if I would have asked you a really personal question, the Juggy smile would have appeared in your face, and you would have gone, don't worry about that, mate. You know.
Yes, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Yeah, to a certain extent, that's me kind of just keeping my my personal stuff within myself, and not having to kind of burden it on anyone else, or talk about my real feelings.
And why is that? Is that because of the way you were brought up?
I think. See, my between me and my parents is a massive age gap. Right, so I think.
How many years, if you don't mind me asking?
Wow, my dad and my mum and dad are both going to be 79 this year. So,
oh, sorry, you mean there's an age gap between you and your parents?
Yeah.
All right, I messed up. I thought between your mum and your dad.
No.
All right.
No, between me and my parents there's a huge age gap.
Yeah.
Right, and then there's a 10-year age gap between me and my older brother. So along the way, I didn't really have someone very close to talk to about things that were happening in my generation, because I just thought that they won't get it.
Yeah.
So I just never talked to him about it.
I'm feeling a bit like Tukalasi.
Well, I wasn't Kalla. I mean, I had a lot of elder friends all the time from a very young age. And I think there was good that came out of that, and there was bad that came out of that, because maybe I was exposed to a lot of things before my time.
What kinds of things?
Just like out partying, drinking, and being in nightclubs before I should have even been there. And just things that then come along with that. And it's just I think because of that, I never really kind of discussed any issues that I might have had, or problems or anything like that. I just kind of went, it's cool. You just get over it.
Not discussed it with family.
With family, or and then beyond family, it was just, for me, it was like you don't talk about anything outside of your household, because we've all grown up in families where there's big families, dad's got brothers, sisters, and there's all sorts of politics, and whereas when you get older, you realize it actually happens in every household. Every household's got politics. So although you're trying to keep your family behind this parda, where everything is all hunky-dory, it's actually not, and everyone's families are exactly the same. And when you're trying to go, Loki, it's like, well, Loki have the same stuff going on.
Yeah.
So why not talk about it? But that's how you've grown up.
It's
not
weird,
talk
though.
About your stuff.
It's weird though, because you're right. Like, the best thing to do is to talk about it.
Yeah.
And you're totally right that Loki and they're going through stuff, but actually that Loki line is very destabilizing for a lot of people in our culture.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people let it actually dictate how they live their lives.
Yeah.
And you can't have your life lived worrying about what other people think.
People will think and what other people will say. And I don't care. I don't care about what people will say, what people think. I live my life the way I want to live it. And at the end of the day, along your journey in life, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna hit obstacles, and it makes you a better and stronger person when you learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
No person out there is 100% the finished article. You never will be till the day, you're never going to be that person. And I think along the way, when you go through these things, it's like I even teach my kids that. Like my children are very young, and I sometimes will be chatting to them, and my daughter will say, "Daddy, I want to ask you something, but I think you're going to say no."
Yeah.
And I said, but you haven't asked me yet, so how do you know I'm going to say no? And then there might be another scenario where I'll be talking to her, and she'll say something like, I don't want to ask you this, Daddy. And I'm like, what? She said, I might get it wrong. I said, so what?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I said, if you get it wrong, we'll correct it and make sure you don't get it wrong next time. So can
you be my daddy? Even though I love my daddy, and I know it's a bit weird actually.
No, but like I'm just trying to put into them what never got told to me.
Yeah.
That it's okay to open up.
Yeah.
It's okay to make mistakes, and I'm prepared for my children to make mistakes in life.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to frown upon them. And even in conversation, like when we talk. Some days, man, I've got an 8-year-old, like 7-year-old going on 17. So you can imagine the things that we talk about, right? And sometimes she'll come home and she'll say something, which I'm thinking, oh my God, I didn't think I'd be talking to my 7-year-old about this.
Yeah.
Right? And one of the things that you should never do, and I'm not preaching or anything, everyone has their own ways of dealing with things and bringing up their children, but one thing I don't do is frown upon anything that might have been, back in the day, a taboo subject to talk about. You know? If you go like this, they might talk about, I don't know, they might talk about sex or cigarettes or something like that, and you go, oh, no, we're not talking about that.
Yeah. Basically showing loads of bad energy around it. Yeah.
Straight away, they're going to think, oh, hold on a minute. Well, why can't I talk to my dad about this?
Yeah, they're not going to run away. They're just going to go, I'm not going to bring it up in front of dad.
Yeah. But I want them to.
Yeah.
Because I need to educate them.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, who else is? And if they become like me that don't talk about it, they're going to make worse mistakes and get into worse problems. You know what I mean? So I think, going back to myself, I just think, I don't regret, what's happened or what I've kind of been through. I think it's I'm in a great position. I'm happy, and I just live life to the fullest. And
I'll tell you what, we're going to play a track,
okay,
and then you keep saying, oh, stuff happened, and I couldn't talk about it, and then obviously stuff happened.
Yeah,
I'm gonna ask what stuff happened, because you really, and not in a bad level.
Okay,
you're dancing around that stuff happened. So
true.
Let's jump into that stuff if you don't mind.
All right. Okay.
First though, just to open up everyone's hearts, my heart, your heart, everyone who's listening in right now, you know how much I love this tune that I'm about to play. You know how much this means to so many Juggy D fans out there. And I'm not talking about Saunier or any of these other tunes.
Oh, man. Yeah.
This is just
I know what you're talking about,
something special. I'm about to play Akir. Anything you want to say about this?
This helped a lot of people, man. This helped a lot of people. This did. I get messages still to this day, and this has been out since 2004. It was written by an uncle of mine. It was the final track that we put on the album, Saunier, and I went to him. My dad said to me, go meet your uncle. He's got some stuff for you. And I went there, and he went through loads of songs, and I was like, no. And then he didn't sing anything to me. He just read lyrics, just read them, and then he read this. And after the first few lines, I said, Uncle, stop. I said, I want this, please. And he was shocked. He was like, you want this? Why? I said, because this is so different to what Juggy D is about, but it's also, this is what I go by. Like before you start any new thing or anything, Rabdana leke karo, and then this was universal. This didn't relate to any culture or religion. It was to anybody. Lale Ostana, and this is Akir.
Do you know what this is? On top of that, I just want to say, this track is your saver.
Wow, thank you.
Because you say it's helped so many people.
It has, man, it has. And that's not me saying it, that's people messaging me to this day saying, Buddy, this track helped me through bad times, it helped me through, I was going through a really bad time and this song really helped me at the time. And it's great to hear things like that, man. Produced by Mentor. Done an absolutely phenomenal job on this track. Also featured Kartik. He played some great violins and rags on there. He did some rags on there. It is one of my personal favorites. It has I have a very soft spot for this track. It's beautiful. I do like it.
So let's just get down to business.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm doing this, I don't want you to think I'm doing this because, hey, it's no filter and we need to get like really, really either controversial or really, really intimate. It's just a conversation. But I did notice that maybe subliminally, you keep pointing towards something.
Yeah.
And I want to actually follow the arrow to what that thing is. So what you hinted at was you were hanging out with people who are older than you, and they kind of showed you, and I get it. I grew up right around the corner from you, a couple of miles away from you, and I grew up in those days, maybe a few more years before you, and especially in those days, there's no other way to put it. There were a lot of wrong-uns doing quite mad things, you know what I mean? Yeah. Our community was involved in a lot of stuff that's, beyond the pale. Yeah. And I met those guys. They were at college, they were at school, they were around. Yeah. I'm not saying your friends were like that. And then you've talked about other time, in this chat, you've talked about, if I don't tell my kids this, they might end up here. Like here is someplace you've been yourself. So just tell me, where is that place?
There's, for me, it was, from a very young age, being obviously exposed to a lot of alcohol, and started drinking at a very young age. Recreational use of certain substances.
Okay.
And it's like, those kind of things are not good, and I don't condone any of them, because, as much as people say that, yeah, they got it under control and it's only here and there, it's not good for you, man. I don't condone it. And I've been there, done it, got the t-shirt and lived to tell the tale, but I don't want my children going through anything like that, you know what I mean? And I don't talk about a lot of it openly, because I don't want my kids to know about what I went through. So, it shouldn't be anywhere for them to kind of go, oh my God, my dad went through this, and so I went through some dark times, some bad times, you look for things to kind of get you through those times, and sometimes we don't make the right decisions. We make bad choices, for me, alcohol was one of the things that led to me being powerless.
So let me just try and get this right. Alcohol led you to being powerless, and you said dark times. if you don't mind me doing this, is it that you felt down or lost and then you filled the space with alcohol, or was it you drank lots of alcohol and then you became dark and lost?
I think it was initially it was just alcohol, because you love doing it and you don't see it as a problem,
and especially if you're British and Sikh and Punjabi, it's not as if anyone's going to tell you to not.
My nanne, dade, babbe, they've all been drinking, so it's in our bloodline, So it's just one of those things that, initially, everyone loves getting out, getting pissed up and in the pub, and partying and clubbing until early hours.
I met you in a pub in Southall a couple of times.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
You did look like you'd been partying, possibly.
Yeah, and that used to be a local hangout, So I think most of the pubs in Southall have been my local at some point. Like, you have different times of your life, and that's my local now. Yeah, that's now my local. Anyway, it's just going through the years. Sometimes you just you're drinking and you're doing things, and there's no issues, right? And you're doing it because you enjoy it. And then there's certain times where you've got things going on, and you try and kind of block those out by having a drink and going into a certain place. So it's a mixture of the two, man. I'm not saying that, I drank to drown sorrows, or I drank because I was upset, and, but it was just a kind of a mixture of two. Sometimes it's like you kind of, like I said, you're powerless, and you kind of lose control, and you think, is that the right way to do it, or is not? It's like,
So how did that powerlessness manifest itself? Was it an emotional powerlessness, or was it to do with your career? Like I'm just trying to find out how it manifested.
It's just all sorts of personal things, man. Like, relationships, early days. Then, it could be financially, it could be at home, it could be, and I've been through all of it. I've been in this industry for nearly 2 decades, man. I've been seeing the highs and the lows, and there's certain times where you get a little bit like kind of frustrated and a bit depressed about things, and you think, I wish I'd done this like that, or why can't we kind of really move faster with certain things. Like, I was just talking off air a little while ago and saying that I've got so much music sitting on my laptop that I know we're not meant to be talking about music, but I'm just saying, like, what things that fuel your frustration is that there's so much stuff sitting on there which I haven't put out, and I've got probably enough music for an album, right? But it's so diverse, which is great, because that's how albums, I feel, should be. It's a collective body of work which is of different types of music. But sometimes it becomes frustrating, when you feel that you're, because like, you're only as good as your last record, and that can sometimes have a lot of pressure on you, especially when you've come from such a high of being someone that's created a genre, and then there's all these other people coming through, which is great, but you then can get into a dark place because you're feeling a little bit kind of disheartened by your own kind of actions and stuff like that. There's a lot to, I can't pinpoint one thing that makes you kind of go into a dark space. You know what I mean?
So can I just ask you this straight out? Were you ever an alcoholic?
No, I wouldn't say I was a binge drinker. Sometimes, in situations like that, you know what? I guess you could say, when you say alcoholic, right? Alcoholic doesn't mean that you wake up in the morning and your hands shake and you need a drink.
No, it just means you use it as a crutch, even if the crutch is one day a week.
So,
but it's the emotional support.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me just say one thing to you. Yes, I can say, I put my hand up and say, yeah, I was an alcoholic.
That kind, not that, as you say, not like waking up in the morning and hiding bottles in cupboards and all that kind of stuff. I was an alcoholic because I had a problem when I drank. That's all right. This is something new now. This is another thing on top. Yeah. All right. And I only, I just hope you don't mind me drilling down into this.
It's cool, man. It's cool.
I'm from the culture. I have friends and family who have drank too much, who drunk themselves to injure themselves. And I've got other friends and family who have this, which I think is a different problem, by the way. You've got alcoholism, which is relying on drink to deal with life, right? Whereas I've noticed, especially I think within Punjabi culture, there are some people who aren't alcoholics at all, but alcohol doesn't suit them. Switch mode happens. 2 drinks in and they are literally
animals.
cray. Exactly. So are you saying you were that?
No, not an animal. I guess
we've all met guys like that, right?
Yeah. I think the only time when I used to drink rum, I used to turn into an animal. I stopped drinking rum very early on. After I left university, I was like, nah, rum's no good for me. And I stopped that. But see, the thing is, as time went on, it was just kind of certain times, like it's when you, like I said, like, when you're powerless, like you have a drink and then it's like anything goes. Anyone's like, let's do this, chalo.
Let's go. Forget my responsibilities.
Forget everything. You just, and that's not you. That's not the person you were before you had that first drink.
Yeah, okay, I get what you're saying.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the moment you have that first drink, if it makes you a different person where you're not in control of yourself and you don't think about what you're doing to people around you, you're an alcoholic.
That's really serious. As you say, you may not be going off and robbing banks. But the point is you've had a drink and suddenly you're at 10 now. You're not. You can't see the past or the future. You're in that bubble. And that's. Wow. All right. Look. I'm supposed to play another track. I'm not going to. I didn't want this whole thing to be just about that. But it's really interesting because I think like I'm learning a lot, and I think people are learning.
Should I tell you why? I think it's important to talk about this is because there's a lot of people going through this. A lot of people, especially in Asian culture. And there's people that think that they don't have a problem, but they do. And you know what it is? They don't have anyone to talk to about it. Because of that whole thing that we were saying before, that they're too proud. And they feel that if they talk to someone and they say it and they open up, that it's going to belittle them. It's going to make them feel like not so much of a man. But you know what? It makes you a bigger man. It makes you a bigger man if you open up and deal with your problem and talk to someone about it.
You know what I find really interesting? Some people go, oh my God, I couldn't open up because my parents were like that. We're talking about our parents who were first generation immigrants. What I'm starting to see, because I'm in my 40s now, are people my age who have the chance to become better fathers. Well, I'm only talking about fathers. Mothers, I'll leave that to someone else. And they themselves haven't advanced. They've not done what you've done, which is look at their kids and gone, you know what? I'm going to be different. I'm going to be a different kind of parent. So it's worrying. This stuff can manifest itself down the generations.
Yep. But and I will keep saying it that and I say it because I hope this helps people that are listening or helps people that might know somebody that needs to listen to this and go, you need to listen back to that show because you need to do what these guys are talking about.
But then let me ask you then, because you've talked about the problem, okay? So in the self-help industry, within alcoholism, they always talk about rock bottom. There's a point when you hit rock bottom, and then the people who've come out there at the other end go, I hit rock bottom and then I changed.
Yeah.
I want to know when you realised you'd hit rock bottom, and I want to know, and this is the most important thing for people listening, because I know you're clean and you've been for a very long time.
Yeah.
How did you get out of that black hole? When did you hit rock bottom? How did you get out?
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I want to talk about that actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a bit too deep for me.
All right, fine.
Because that is when I hit rock bottom, I was like
Lost forever.
I was lost, bro. I was like to the point where there was no coming back from anything. It was like almost, I didn't think of it, but it could have, like, thoughts of suicidal things. Like, not that it didn't cross my mind, but it could have easily gone that way unless I had seen the light at the end of the tunnel. And like I said, and there's certain things, because there's certain people that came into my life and helped me, which I don't want to mention on air.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they might not want to be talked about.
No,
Do you understand?
Understood,
so
man.
I respect their privacy and their thing. So, but yeah, man. But on top of that, my family, my wife, my brothers like Rishi, Jay, that are very close. My best friends from university. I have a network. I have a very close network where people kind of knew that there was a problem, and they all looked at me and said, "Jugs, we want to help you, bro."
Did you even have one of those interventions where they sit you down and go, "Listen, mate"?
No. There was one point in my life where I put my hands up and walked indoors and said to my mum, "I got issues."
Wow.
And that took courage, bro.
Wow.
That took courage, because my dad is a hardcore Sardar Punjabi, like, Chattar Marutre. What do you mean you got problems?
Yeah.
Don't have problems. We don't have problems. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me to kind of like, but it was like, yeah, man, it was dark times, man. It's like, but and I'm so grateful for the people that I had around me. Like I said, my friends, very close friends, family, and I don't have a huge extended, a group of friends. Over the years, you learn to filter through them, and you just keep it nice, tight network where you can openly talk to. And that's what I would say to people, that, if you need to talk to someone about certain things going on in your life, pick your closest people, because they will listen, man. And they'll be there to help you. And if they're not, then they're not your soldiers, man. They're not the ones that I want to actually see you, like, blossoming in life and doing well in life. They're just there for the ride,
Now, if you are feeling there in the position that Juggy's talking about, and you haven't got friends, what I'm going to do is just keep yourself locked in. I'm going to give you some phone numbers, because in lieu of having friends who can't give you advice, there are phone numbers via us here at the BBC that can help. Now, Juggy, we usually finish this around about 9 o'clock. I don't want to just finish on this. So okay. I'm going to play another tune, and then there are more questions. We've got listener questions, and I got one or two questions.
Cool.
So I just want to say congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Coming out the other side.
Thank you, man.
I want to say Mubarakah.
Thank you very much.
This is
No Filter.
No Filter on the BBC Asian Network with me, Bobby Friction, alongside Juggy D today. And I think we're gonna stop talking about alcohol because we did take a left turn and we were there for a while. Yep. I'm gonna say this: Juggy gave some really good advice about how he kind of had to fix himself. I think you putting your hands up and saying, "I need help, Mum," is a major thing, and we've got to recognise there are people out there who can't do that with their parents. Also, you had your great friends around you, all of your friends that you grew up with. You had Rishi and Jay around you as well. Some people don't have those people. Oh, and of course,
the most important person,
one
of the most important, the wife, man. She's
your
the
lifesaver.
backbone. She's the backbone, man. She's the backbone.
So some people haven't got that. So I'm going to say to you right now, if you're listening in, you can actually call Drinkline, and my advice to you, and this is just from personal experience and from friends of mine, whatever issue you've got, sometimes it's great to phone up one of these helplines and talk to a stranger.
Yeah,
because you actually end up verbally spilling it all out, because it's not auntie or
no
your
one's
friend
there to judge you.
Yeah. So I'm going to give you the number now. The Drinkline number is 0300 123 123 So that's 0300 123 111. Seriously, phone them up and spill your guts to a stranger, verbally speaking. Hopefully, things will get better for you. So I want to ask you a couple of things now, bro. Away from that, okay?
Yeah.
You said something earlier on. You went, I've got all these tracks on my hard drive, and then I see all these new artists coming through, and it gets really frustrating for me. Yeah. So I'm actually going to do, which is something that makes all musicians really uncomfortable, especially in the Asian scene, because everyone doesn't want to complain, and they just want to kind of say everything's great. Has work ever frustrated you? I'm not talking about, hey, what don't you like about the Asian scene? I just mean, I felt a bit of frustration there that you're sometimes looking at new artists going through and you're kind of going, I've got this laptop full of tracks. Is there something about even age that upsets you around this? I felt like there was a little sliver of you kind of going, I'm a bit envious. And I'm
very envious. No, don't get me wrong, I'm very envious. But you know what? It's just a little part of me that does that. Very little part of me. And I think it's only natural to do that.
As an artist.
To go, what's going on, man? Like, when they're churning stuff out. But then I look back and I think, well, when I first started, I was just the same.
Yeah.
And right now, they're probably envious about what I've got.
Yeah.
Because they're out there grafting, banging song after song and trying to do the whole, different parts of the world doing shows. I've been there, I've done that. I'm in a different part of my life right now. Now this is me talking to myself, right? They're probably looking at me going, look, man, the guy's been there, done it. He's got 3 kids, right? He's got a lovely family life. And so then it stops. Then I go, yeah, I'm actually all right.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
actually happy where I am, man.
I know
I'm envious of them. Absolutely, of course I am. But I'm very proud of them, other artists as well out there. I think they're doing great. There's loads of them out there that I'm fans of as well, man. And I openly say it. I'm not ashamed to say that I'm a fan of other artists. I'm comfortable within my own skin, within my own music, and I love where I'm at. So yeah.
So, I mean, you know it. I'm just gonna say it. You're a legend, mate.
Thank you very much.
You've been around long enough.
Thank you.
You definitely look slightly older than when I first met you.
Yeah.
I'm sure I look a couple of centuries older than when you first met me.
I think we both look good, man.
We're looking all right.
Since how long we've been around.
No, what I always say to people who say you look good for age, I go, look into my eyes, and then they back off and go, all right, mate, all right, fine. The reason I'm saying that is because they definitely look at you like you're a legend.
No, thank you, man.
So why
nice
you don't have to, innit?
No, you still do. I mean, it's, I'm very honoured to be called a legend. I'm very humbled. But yeah, man, it's you still there's within myself. I still feel that there's a lot I want to achieve and a lot I want to put out there, and that's what gets frustrating for me just a little bit,
Yeah.
But I'm juggling family life and music now. Before it was just music. Before I got married and had kids. Now I'm doing both, So it comes in as quick as it comes into my head. I let it go, because when things happen, they happen. And like just how Get Down came out. It came out, it went out in India, and it was brilliant, and it was great, and it was like
one of the best things you've ever done, if you ask me.
Thank you so much.
You know how much I love that electronic sound, that filthy sound.
Yeah, that Get Down, and I think I gave it to you first.
Hanji.
Yeah, and exactly, because I knew it was your sound. That's that's the kind of stuff that you promote. And then after Get Down, we had Dance. Before that, we had Mubarak on. So I've had and it was like, the other thing that gets frustrating is sometimes when, people drop you this really sarcastic remark, oh, you're so 2002, right? And you think...
That's gotta hurt, man.
Of course it hurts, bruv. It's like, you know what? You... Beep. You know what I'm saying? And
there's more and more people like that. Yeah. Social media has gotten all those people and given them a megaphone to shout at people.
Seriously, man. Social media is a horrible thing. Listen, when we first came out, there was none of that around. We weren't on nothing. We was organic, word of mouth. We grew, went from here all the way to New Zealand and back. And, that was all without anything and without anyone telling you anything on social media and having a dig at you. Where you're still gonna see it. Them days it was like muh te gal hundi si. They see you, they say it, but no one has the bottle to say it then.
Yeah.
Because they all like keyboard warriors.
Yeah.
Because they can't see you, they're not gonna get a response back. So but the way I deal with it, if I do see it, don't get me wrong, I do see it sometimes, straight delete. I don't even reply to them. I don't respond. You know what my response is? Okay, let me get my next record ready.
Yeah.
Let me get these last 3-4 tracks that came out. was a confidence boost for me as well. Like you know what? Yeah, I'm not just 2002, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Man.
I've still got it, and we can still put great music out. And you know, just for the record, we've got another one coming out with Jay Sean and Rishi Rich very soon.
All right, look, one last question for me. We're already veering massively to this next hour, but I need to ask this before we let you go off into the night, possibly to Southall, who knows? And that is, first of all, congratulations on becoming a father.
Thank you.
To a young boy.
Yes, my son.
Your son.
My
so
son.
You say it
Mera
like...
pot. They're all my pot, but you know that son one is something special as well.
So I know you don't mean that in the old school mentality.
No, not at all. Not at all.
You know,
absolutely not at all.
I've heard you talk about your daughters before. So I'm just going to ask you this, let's pretend it's your son's 18th birthday.
Yep.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And you've brought him up. Mm-hmm. And he's listening in right now. What do you want to say to him?
Oh, wow. Wow. I'd just like to say to him that, you know what? I will love you every day, and I'll try and guide you the best I can. I won't be able to be here by your side all the time, but just make the right choices in life, son. That's it.
Thank you. All right, we're just going to put that in the time capsule. He can pick that up 18 years from now. Just a few things. We don't usually read out listeners' questions, but some of these are really nice. I just want to read them out. First of all, Raj has emailed in saying, more people in our community need awareness that it's okay to be you and it's okay to mess up as long as you learn and move on. I like your music, and now after this No Filter, I love your philosophies.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Rajat says, I closed my eyes listening to Akir, and it took me to a place and time that I miss so dearly when I left my soulmate behind. So, you know, once again, whether your track's Seva or even if it's just sadness and you're provoking an emotion out of someone, it's amazing to have written a track, to have sung a track all those years ago that still has a profound influence on people who listen to it. Saab says, my question for Juggy, and this is the last one tonight, I promise. If he could go back in time to a single moment in his life, what moment would that be and why? That's a great question. I wish I'd asked that
There's
question.
so many moments, man. Like oh man. I can't pick one. I can't pick one. My life has been so eventful, man. I can't pick one. But I guess I'm gonna pick something that's quite current still. I think my first child, delivering my first child.
Oh, and you delivered.
I delivered two. I've delivered two.
Damn.
I delivered my daughter, which is my firstborn, Venice, and I've delivered my son, who's my thirdborn. But yeah, if I could go back to that one, is the first time I did that. The second time was I kind of knew what I was doing. I'd been there,
you were
right?
midwife jigging them.
Yeah, man. I'd have experienced, the second time around. But the first time was the most beautiful thing that could have happened in the world. At the time, it was the scariest thing ever. But looking back at it, it was, when your child takes a breath of life in their father's arms. And my daughter,
God.
Oh my God, it's making my hair stand on end. Just talking about it right now. That was the most beautiful moment ever. And I don't think I could, if I could go back to that point right again, I would love to, because it was just, oh man, what a blessing.
Yeah.
What a blessing.
All right, I just need, can I just grab myself a couple of seconds? Thank you, Juggy. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Open, and thank you for doing No Filter for us.
No worries, man. My pleasure. Pleasure's all mine.
Asian Network.